everyone, my name is undeadjinx and welcome back to 14 Days With You? Is it with you or without you? It's with you. We are gonna be getting into day 2. Well, this kind of sucks. I have to redo all my stuff. Yeah, my character is different again. What the hell? That kind of stinks. Okay, maybe because of that we'll see if we can get through more days. Angel? You're back? I can't wait to see you again. Weird. It's forcing us to start. Did you recently update? If so, older files, that's fine. It's just weird. It has us, it auto-started us on... It's interesting because it saved our login name, didn't save our status, didn't save our customized character, and then didn't save our load file either. Well, it saved our load files, but it didn't save where we last left off at. Like, it auto-started. Maybe I should have clicked... Maybe I clicked the wrong thing and I was supposed to click load. Waking up to the sounds of birds chirping outside and the sunlight filtering through my blinds, I groggily rubbed my eyes before absent-mindedly staring at my ceiling for a few moments. A lot had occurred last night and I still needed to process most of it. But the main thing that plagued my mind was the stranger I let into my apartment last night. Was he still here? Slipping out of bed, I smoothed out the wrinkles in my pajamas to make myself look presentable before heading out into the hallway. Well, yeah, that's crazy if you didn't bring a change of clothes. I don't have to make it that far before I catch the familiar glimpse of pink in my vision, and I walk out to see Ren already awake and neatly stacking his pillows and blanket away. Oh. Well, morning, Angel. Sleep well? I don't think anyone came by last night, but... Your neighbor. She's kinda loud, isn't she? Ah, Ren must have heard her gaming on her computer at 2 AM like usual. As if to apologize on her behalf, I offer Ren a sympathetic smile before coming to help him move the pillows back into their rightful spot. Yeah, sorry about that. I usually don't mind since I'm also awake at that time, but I forgot that you'd be able to hear Violet from here as well. Oh, it's no trouble. It was odd to hear her at first. She doesn't really give off that vibe, you know? Yeah, I get what you're saying. She isn't really the type to... Oh, he's hungry. I was like, why is he growling? Apparently, Ren's stomach wanted to join in the conversation. Sheepishly, he covers his mouth with his sleeve of his sweater and turns away. But now that I was up close, I could make out the faint, dark circles under his eyes and immediately started to feel bad. Okay, don't feel bad. He inserted himself into our life and was like, I can come over. He didn't have to do that. He could have stayed home. He could have slept in his own bed. He's right where he wants to be. Leave him alone. Don't feel bad. So he was hungry and he didn't get much sleep last night? I must have been a terrible host. Not even. It's literally fine. It's not like this was planned in advance. I had to make up for this somehow. So sorry, I don't know why it made that noise. I'm not hungry or anything. Here, why don't I make something for us to eat? Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't want to be a bother anyway. See, he's fine. Actually, why don't we go out for breakfast instead? I think that cafe by the pier is open to the public now. We should check it out. He hasn't even showered or anything yet. He's still in his clothes from yesterday. A new cafe? Was he talking about the Driftwood Cafe? I wasn't even aware that it was open to the public yet. Still, taking him out for breakfast was the least I could do to show my gratitude. After all, Ren did make sure that no creep broke into my apartment last night again, and he did it all without expecting anything in return. He is a complete and total stranger who offered... He suggested it first himself! I don't see what the problem is. We don't have to do anything. Yes, it would be nice for us to do these things, but like... It's not required of us because he chose to stay in our house and make sure no creeps, like, entered. Yeah, sure. Let me get dressed then. I'll just be 2 seconds. Sure, okay, take your time. I'll wait here. Leaving Ren unattended yet again, I quickly ducked back into my bedroom to change out of my pajamas. In the end, oh, this looks like California. In the end, Ren and I decided to walk to the cafe together, considering how the weather was perfect and it wasn't far from my apartment. Turning to my side, I noticed how the pink-haired man tries to not so subtly sneak side glances towards me. The arm at his side practically itches to reach out, and if I knew any better, I would have assumed he wanted to hold my hand. But instead, he simply tucks his hand into his pockets and shoots me yet another soft smile. The weather's really nice today, huh? Back to small talk, it seems. Sure is. If I had known it'd be this nice and sunny, I would have suggested spending the day at the beach instead. Yeah? Yeah, we could go for a swim, or maybe even check out the rock pools. It's been a while since I've been there. Oh, that does sound fun. Oh, Angel! At the sound of my name being called, I turn on my heels, only to find Leon running up to me with the sports bag full of what I assume to be his volleyball gear. Heyo, Sunfish. It's good to see you out and about this early. I was just on my way to the beach to meet up with Jay and Tio. Did you want to tag along? And hey, it's Ron, right? Nice to see you again, buddy. Oh, it's Ren, actually. Sunfish? Huh? Oh, yeah. Sunfish is the cheeky nickname Leon gave me when we were kids. I don't really get it either, to be honest. So, Sunfish and Ren, was it? Sorry about that, bud. I'm not too good with names, faces too sometimes. But hey, it's good to see you both again. Doing anything exciting today? If not, you can tag along with me, and Angelfish and I were about to go on a date, actually. Oh my gosh. That's kind of cringe. It's kind of weird. He's so jealous of the nickname. I mean, I guess that's spot on for his character, but like, damn. And he's just calling it a date? That's crazy. We're just getting food. I just realized they blink. It's kind of interesting. Angelfish? A date? I don't miss the way Ren suddenly pulls my arm closer to his side, nor the way he clings onto me as though I'd suddenly disappear. You're going on dates again, Darl? Good for you. Oh, I forgot. He might be Southern or something, maybe. I'm glad to see that you're coming out of your shell again. Oh wait, what if he's like Australian? Take good care of her for me, won't you, bud? What do you think I've been doing ever since you moved away? Like me, Leon barely seems to notice Ren's mumbling as he rests an arm over my shoulder and starts tugging me in the direction of the beach. Ren, on the other hand, still latches onto my arm but doesn't seem to move. I can't believe my Sunfish is out there in the dating scene again. I feel like a proud father. That probably wasn't very Australian. Oh please, we're basically the same age. I feel like a proud adopted father. Leon pretends to wipe a tear away from his eyes and leans further into my shoulder, and it was only then that I noticed Ren wasn't following us. Turning around, I reach out to grab his hand instead to tug him along. He immediately seems to perk up at the action and entwines his fingers with mine before falling into step. Alright, as fun as it is to catch up with my proud adoptive father who's the same age as me, which makes things kind of weird, Ren and I do need to get going. Oh, yeah, of course, I didn't mean to take up so much of your time. He unhooks his arm from around my shoulder and inclines his head towards the beach one more time. But my offer still stands. If you want to catch up some more, I'll be down at the beach with... Oh, hello. Oh, this is Tio. Oi. Wait. Maybe we actually are in Australia, because he's like the second person to say oi. Don't they do that a lot in Australia? Speak of the devil. Almost like he appeared from thin air, Theodore, oh, is that Theodore? T-H-E-O? Or rather, Tio, emerges from somewhere behind Leon and makes his way towards the three of us. Though, unlike most of my friends here in Corland Bay, I actually met Teo in this city a few years ago, back when I used to live there. In fact, it was through our mutual friend, Jay. Apparently, they'd both known each other since the beginning of middle school, but even after graduating and moving on to university, the pair were still practically inseparable. According to Jay, Teo would always show up at campus to pay him a visit, though if I were being honest, I'm sure Teo only did it to antagonize some of the students and staff there. It definitely wasn't out of the ordinary for him to do something like that. Plus, it offered me a lot more insight into the whole assertive yet nonchalant attitude he often liked to put on. The first time I'd ever witnessed it was when Teo found me sitting alone at a cafe. I still remember sitting there, slack-jawed as he practically shoved my laptop bag to the side, before he sat down and took a sip of my drink like it was his own. The satisfying grin from seeing my displeasure said everything, and had he not offered to buy me another drink, I'm almost certain I would have told Teo to get lost and bother someone else. But before I can reminisce any further, I hear the sounds of Teo's footsteps, drawing closer, and it pulls me back to the present. I watch as he walks up to us with a confident stride before he purposefully bumps into Ren with the sole purpose of sending him tumbling into the metal railing behind him. Aww. But luckily, Ren manages to catch his footing at the last second, sending Teo an annoyed scowl of his own. Aw, crap. Sorry about that. I'm not sure how I missed that. Such a brightly colored children's mascot. Oh my gosh. Alright, there's no need for that here. Despite Leon's tone, Teo barely plays the shorter male any mind, seemingly far more interested in Ren instead. That's hilarious. I think it's, if this is our second love interest, I don't know. I don't know who I'd pick. Can we just, like, take them, Ren and Teo, and mash them together into one giant, I don't know, maybe not giant, but can we just mush them together? Like, I feel like they're both very attractive, but they're very different. And, it's gonna be hard to pick. Let me guess, you're dressed up as Benny the Buttercup? My 4-year-old cousin would love you. Oi, knock it off, mate. Oh, that was pretty good, wasn't it? That feel like I nailed the accent there. What's your problem? Dunno, what's yours? I did it again. I could practically feel the tension between the two grow, so I decided to step in. Maybe you should introduce each other first before you try glaring each other to death. Teo, this is Ren. He's my... well, I'm her boyfriend. We just met yesterday! Well, that was certainly one way to put it, especially without bringing it up with me beforehand. At his words, I shoot Ren a confused glance, but the determined look on his face had me biting back my words. Okay. Anyway, this is Teo. He's... wait, how should I introduce him to Ren? Oh my god. This is really funny. I kind of want to piss him off, but also I'm scared he's gonna murder Teo. Here's the part where we save just in case. I want to say he's my ex-boyfriend. He's my ex-boyfriend. Yeah, I don't like to date people outside of my tax bracket. And don't get it twisted, doll! We were never exclusive. I never even brought up the concept of dating when I was with you. Oh, that explains why you were fine with cheating on me. Wait, what? I thought you guys were just friends. What a complete loser. He cheated on us? Excuse me, it's not cheating if I was never your boyfriend. Alright, why don't we change the subject? I'm sorry, you weren't my boyfriend? Then why would you ask me not to see other people? You think I'd want to share you with others and let them have what's mine? Wait, what? Before I can step forward and knock some sense into that idiot, Ren seems to beat me to it. He grabs the other male by the collar of his shirt, but Teo only looks on with a lazy smirk. My god. What's your problem? Okay, enough. Look, why don't we just drop this, yeah? You really need to stop trying to pick fights with everyone, mate. Don't get your panties in a twist. I seriously doubt Buttercup's capable of harming a fly, let alone able to throw a decent punch. You can drop the nickname. Nah, but I think Dollface over here should drop you instead. That's crazy. He just got mad at me for calling him out for being my ex-boyfriend and cheating on me, and then now he's, like, jealous? Insane. Besides, the nickname is kinda cute. Matches your style pretty well, don't you think, Buttercup? I could see Ren's hand clench into a fist as he advances towards Theo, but thankfully Leon steps in once more. Seriously, why don't we all cool off, yeah? I think we're getting a bit too heated. Look, we're gonna head down to the beach. I don't miss the way Leon sends Theo a sharp glance. Are you sure you don't want to join us, Angel? I promise to make sure that Theo stays on his best behavior. Sorry, Leon, but I've already made plans with Ren. And I seriously doubt they'll be able to get along. You know how Theo can get. Yeah, you've got a point there. Well, alright then. He leans closer to me, almost as if he didn't want the other two eavesdropping. If anything happens, I'll be in the area. Just come find me, okay? I will. Thanks, Leon. I give his arm a soft squeeze and turn my attention back to Ren. By the way he looks at us, I can only assume that he didn't like how close I was standing to my childhood friend. Though that could have also been because Teo was still around, and honestly, I couldn't blame him. Regardless, I reach for his hand once more and tug him toward the cafe, making a point of ignoring Teo's crass words as we went along. I barely notice how Ren's mood immediately changes when my attention is back on him, and he follows along like a lost puppy. Well, that was certainly interesting. We eventually arrive at the Driftwood Cafe, and the smell of fresh pastries and brewed coffee floods my senses as it wafts through the open windows. And just as I had thought, the cafe looked as though it had only recently been opened, though it didn't seem as busy or crowded as I anticipated. Pulling me from my thoughts, Ren ushers me into one of the empty tables before he goes off to make an order with a pleased look on his face. It was a bit strange how he didn't want to look at the menu first, but I chalked it up to him wanting to surprise me. He's barely gone for 5 minutes before he returns once more, taking a seat in front of me with a huff. A comfortable silence washes over us, and I watch as he absent-mindedly fiddles with the ends of his hair. Was he still concerned about what Teo said about his appearance earlier? Maybe it'd be a good idea to take his mind off of it. Hey, Ren? I wonder if we had picked which hair length that guy from the anime would have. I wonder if Ren would have longer or shorter hair. I'm really curious. Oh my gosh, yeah! I think his hair does adjust based off of what we say we like. Well, that sucks because I feel like this hairstyle sucks with long hair. I feel like it would look better shorter. Can I change that? Oh my gosh, wait, I totally forgot. What's her name? Crystal? Has anyone to my pen? I left it somewhere? The way Teo's fat dumpy won't fit through the staff window. Who is this? Oh, this is Leon. Do we work with Leon? It says work group chat. Also, apparently Crystal is still with our boss. Wait. Almost immediately he perks up with wide eyes. Ren seems to flush at my words as he sheepishly ducks his head. Oh my gosh, wait, I'm having thoughts, guys. Okay, so this is obviously Ren, and this one is Teo. This must also be Ren, because he has the little clips in his hair. But who is this? I mean, this looks like... He doesn't have the same eyes as Ren, but he does have those, like, the tattoos on his neck. So what if this is... I don't know. And I don't know who any of these other people are. This one, someone already has this as their thing. Don't they? Yeah. Whoever 10 Chimes is, I don't remember. I thought that was Leo. I guess it's not Leo. I don't know. And this one looks closer to our neighbor. So who's this? Who's this person? And also, who's this? Well, this person has... I don't know. I was gonna say they have a choker. They have a choker just like this guy. I don't know. I'm so mad he has long hair now, though. Ren seems to flush instantly at my words, and he sheepishly ducks his head lower to hide his reddening cheeks. You like it? I usually just angle a blow dryer below my chin and blast the heat, and it just stays like that afterwards. Are we talking about his hair? Oh, so you don't use any products or anything? No, not really. Just when I thought he got over his timid personality, it slowly came crawling back. Was this really who he was? Ren must have taken my silence as a lack of response, seeing as he tried striking up another conversation. So, work's going good for you, huh? Finally got that promotion? When did we mention that? Yeah, I did. I was honestly surprised when I first got my promotion, considering how I've only moved back here recently. But Eleanor's been really helpful by showing me the ropes and... Wait, how did you know I got promoted? That's what I'm saying. How did you know? Oh, your coworker told me all about it yesterday after you left. Eleanor, right? She seemed really proud of you. Anyway, what were you saying about her showing you the ropes? I barely noticed how he managed to change the conversation back to me as I recounted all the times Eleanor helped me through my first week of working at the library. It eventually reached the point where it felt like I had been talking for hours, and it wasn't until something caught my eye until I finally did stop. Cute puppy, goth style. Oh. Damn it. Part of me, like, doesn't want to romance him completely. Because I'm curious about those other icons, which means there might be a potential third person we can romance. So I kind of don't want to romance him all the way, but also he kind of scares me. Like, I feel like a yandere character is cool and fine and dandy, so long as they're the only person you're interested in. But if there's other people that you're interested in, then you're kind of like fucked. Could always save. Sorry, what were you saying? So this one's probably more romantic. This one will decrease his heart. So sorry, what were you saying? Oh, look at that cute puppy and that goth style is pretty cool. It's probably like gonna maintain something. I don't know, but saying goth style is pretty cool might get him to change his outfit, and I'm curious to see if that happens. That goth style is pretty cool. Goth style? He also glances out of the window and follows my line of sight before landing on the person walking by. They were decked out head to toe with heavy makeup, platform boots, and clothing you'd find only in stores like Not Tropic. Ren's eyes seemed to follow their form until they're out of sight, and the impassive look on his face made me curious. Yeah, it is kind of cool. Do you like that kind of style? Because I always thought you preferred something softer. He's such a weirdo. Order 25. Oh, that's us. Wait, right here. I'll be right back. Before I could get a word in, Ren was jumping out of his seat and meandering his way towards the kiosk. It really was a sight to behold, seeing Ren tower over most of the other customers who were waiting in line. Even the cashier herself, who seemed to be at least 6 feet tall, had to crane her neck upwards just to look at him. Oh, so he already is a giant. But before I could blink twice, Ren was already on his way back with a large tray full of delicious food. He seats himself back in his original spot with a pleased smile and begins to lay out the dishes in front of me. Oh, this is a scone, a croissant, slice of cake, a sugary cookie. Well, I like scones. A delicious-looking scone sits next to my beverage, and I almost heard my stomach rumble at the sight. How did Ren know this was my favorite thing to order? Have y'all ever had scones with like this, like, it's like a lemon egg custard sauce or whatever, I don't know. That shit's good with a scone. Unless it's a chocolate scone, in which case I prefer just butter or whipped cream. Granted, it wasn't like I've been to the Driftwood Cafe before, but this was usually what I'd order at any other coffee shop. It was honestly like he could read my mind, or like he's been stalking us. And what was even more mind-boggling was that he didn't even need to look at the menu beforehand. Oh, now that is interesting, so he's been here before, I guess. It was like he just knew. Don't forget your drink! Ren shoots me another gentle smile of his before placing my drink before me. No way! The drink he placed in front of me was a fruity smoothie, a can of soda? That's funny. These all kind of suck, because I like iced lattes, so I guess a steaming latte. I could tell by the scent that he ordered me a nice warm latte, just like the ones I usually bring on my way to work sometimes. I hope this is okay. Oh, he saw it online. Unfortunately, this cafe doesn't really have much to offer, judging from the menu I saw online. Ah, so that's how you knew what to order. I even tried asking for napkins earlier, but I don't think they heard me. That's crazy, so he's ready to like punch some guy in the face? But won't even ask for napkins? When they didn't hear him the first time? He's got such a, like, a mix of personality, I guess. I don't know. This might be a deal breaker for me. I'm a napkin whore. I do not like getting messy. I mean, I don't mind, like, making a mess as long as there's something to clean it up with, but if I have nothing to clean it up with, then what am I doing? That ass, I bring these little pockets of tissues with me everywhere I go. And I have, I actually have some right here. Little wet wipes I got from 7-Eleven, because what do I look like going somewhere without tissues, napkins, something I can wipe my hands with? Maybe I should try again? Yeah, you should. I almost feel bad for him, but I also felt grateful for ordering me something that I normally eat at a cafe. Ren makes sure everything is on the table before putting the tray aside, and it was then I noticed what he'd ordered himself. On his plate sat a strawberry sweet roll alongside a cup of coffee that was an alarming shade of black. He seemed to pick up on my inquisitive stare, if the innocent tilt of his head was anything to go by. Do you want my meal instead? We can swap if you want. I don't mind. Oh. This was supposed to be a date, right? Deciding to tease him a little, I shoot Ren a sly grin. That's okay, but you could offer me a bite instead. I think it's absolutely batshit insane that this man just declared that we were on a date. If you want to go out on a date, ask me out on a date. Don't just suddenly declare everything that we do to be a date. I hate that so fucking much. This is how you get stuck in a relationship where you're like, we don't go out on dates. And then they're like, what do you mean? I thought us going to get coffee was a date. And you're like, no, we were just hungry. Ren almost seems to combust on the spot as his cheeks turn red, and he almost chokes on his own spit. He looks down at his food before glancing back at me, only to look down once more to scoop up a bite-sized piece of his food. I watch as Ren's cheeks turn a deep shade of red while he brings the fork closer to me, and not wanting to be seen as a coward, I lean in to take a bite. His eyes widen almost immediately, and he seems hyper-focused on the way my mouth wraps around the fork before I lick my lips and let out a pleased hum. I hope he doesn't kidnap us or anything. He looks like mad and embarrassed, though. I think it's kind of interesting. It's yummy, try some! The pink-haired man seems to have an awkwardly long staring contest with his own fork before he scoops up yet another small piece and takes a bite. He's probably like, oh my god, I want to keep this fork forever. Ren's cheeks are almost still scarlet red, and he seems almost fidgety with how his legs keep bouncing under the table, so I decide to take pity on him and not tease him for it. What if that's because he likes to tell people that he's married to us? Like, what if he's not actually married? He likes to pretend that he is married to us in his head. That's insane. With a knowing smile, I start digging into my own meal with a pleased hum. Eventually, we end up finishing our meals and decided to do a bit of window shopping to pass the time. Mind you, neither of them have showered. I had nothing else to do today, and Ren seems insistent on spending the rest of his time with me, so I agreed. We passed by a few clothing stores, ice cream stands, surfboard rentals, and many other interesting buildings, though nothing really caught my interest. But just as I thought I'd lost all hope, one store in particular catches my eye. The goth store. In one of the display windows, I spot this cute little rabbit plushie in the style of Haruko's likeness. I mean, it even came with his limited edition sorcerer outfit and everything. I couldn't believe they were selling these things here of all places, and at such a cheap price too. Ren seems to take notice of what I was not so subtly gawking at, but before we could enter the store, the cashier walks in front of the display stand and blocks our view. She drops a box of miscellaneous items at her feet and begins stocking the shelf next to the plushies, before she finally notices us standing by the window. I don't miss the way her eyes widen at Ren, obviously taking an immediate liking to him, and almost shamelessly pushes a strand of her hair behind her ears before giving him a small wave. Sneaking a glance at the taller man beside me, and noticed how Ren wasn't even paying any attention to her, instead keeping himself busy by scratching at his jaw and kicking at the stray cobblestone rocks by his feet. But the cashier seemed adamant about getting Ren's attention, considering how she felt the need to abandon her spot by the shelves and make her way towards us. That is so funny. He does not seem happy at all. Oh my gosh. Hi there, welcome to Seaside Trinkets. My name is Olivia. Can I help you with anything? She probably just wants a picture with him or something. She probably thinks he looks like the guy. Oh no, we're just looking around, but thanks for... We recently got some new beachwear merchandise if you're interested in checking them out. Was she seriously ignoring me? Oh, I hate that so much. Oh, you look kind of like someone I know. Have we met before? Maybe we went to the same school. Me? I don't think so. Really? I definitely would have remembered a face like yours. Oh my god, that's actually kind of creepy. He backed away. Don't go towards him. Actually, now that I've got a good look at you... I watch as she shamelessly takes in Ren's appearance before crossing her arms over her chest and leaning back. I know it. You also remind me of one of those characters from a cartoon that's been gaining a ton of traction here. Apparently, one of the locations from that show is based on Coraline Bay's main beach. Interesting. Are you talking about Attack on Giant? I'm gonna die if she takes a step closer to him. Is that the name of it? Then yeah. I don't really know much about those cartoons, but our company recently started selling some stuff for it to entice the tourists. Do you want to come inside and take a look? Oh my god! Actually, do you want my number as well? Here. You had this prepared? Of course! You always need to be ready in case any cuties walk into the store. Well, I wouldn't want to sound like a hypocrite or anything. Ren looks at me with a shy, knowing look before he hesitantly reaches out to take the piece of paper. What did he mean by that? Before I even get the chance to ask, Ren already answers my silent question with red cheeks and a crooked smile. This is embarrassing, but I also had my number prepared for when we met at the library yesterday, here. Aw, he reaches into his back pocket and pulls out a folded pink sticky note of his own before discreetly handing it to me, alongside Olivia's number as well. Huh? Why was he giving me her number as well? My confusion must have been blatantly obvious, since Ren was quick to explain his intentions. With a mischievous grin, he leans closer to whisper in my ear. Maybe we could prank call her later. That'll teach her not to give her number out to strangers. But isn't that what you just did with me, Ren? I match his teasing smile. It's different because he's not interested in her at all. If he was interested in her, then there's no difference, it's fine. But and because we're interested in Ren. If we weren't interested in Ren, we could have done whatever we wanted with his number. I match his teasing smile with my own as I run my thumb over the pink sticky note in my hand. Touche, but I've yet to receive any prank calls from you, though. Yeah, because we just got your number, dumbass! We never actually got it! If we ever get the chance, I'm gonna prank call him. Just to fuck with him. Don't jinx it. Jinx. Just as Ren lets out a puff of laughter at my joke, Olivia cuts him off. Hello? I'm still here? Oh, right. Sorry. Don't apologize, Ren. What are you apologizing for? She works here. It's not like she's your friend. I feel like these characters are all really, really interesting. We're just not the same. That's all. We're just very different. Anyway, now that you've got my number and I got your attention again, I think it's only fair I show you around the store. If it means we get a discount. by all means. While I do think this is really funny, I do feel kind of bad for Ren because she's like on him, kind of probably how he would like to be on us. He's like getting a taste of his own medicine, which is both funny but also kind of sucks because I would be really annoyed if someone did that to me. Unless I like them, I guess, because like, I don't even know. I don't do this just for anybody, you know. Ren doesn't seem to answer her initial question, nor does he seem to outright respond to her, and instead casts an inquisitive glance in my direction. It was like he was asking me for my opinion, and I can only assume it was because he knew about my interest in anime. It was thoughtful of him to do that, but I kind of wanted him to tell that rude worker off instead. Wait, did I really want him to do that? What was wrong with me? No, it's totally fine to want that. She's being weird. She's being like, I don't know. She's being a bit much, and he doesn't seem into it. So for that reason, I feel like it's not weird to want to tell him off. Or tell her off, if that makes sense. I'm sure that cashier just took an interest in him, and there was nothing wrong with that. It's not like we were a couple anyway, but we were supposed to be on a date right now, and Ren did declare himself as my boyfriend earlier. But I just assumed he said that in order to get Teo off my back. Does that mean, was he feeling the same way as me? Was jealousy on his mind when we talked with Leo and Teo earlier? I wasn't sure how I felt about this new discovery. Angel? Huh? Do you want to go look at the items? We've still got a lot of time to kill. Here, why don't I show you the most recent stock? We haven't shown this to the general public yet, but I'm sure you'll love it. Without warning, Olivia, was that her name, reaches out for Ren's arm and practically drags him inside the store. He lets out a surprised sound just before leaning back and trying to grab hold of my own arm as well, but I was just out of his reach. There was nothing else I could do but watch as Ren helplessly gets pulled into the store. It's back here in the stock rooms. Usually we don't allow customers downstairs, but you're a real hottie, so I'll let you take a sneak peek. No, actually, I'm good. Don't worry, we won't get caught. I'm sure your girlfriend won't mind if I borrow you for a bit. What the fuck? So she's just rude. I mean, I feel like that's kind of rude if she flat out assumed that we were dating and she's like, you're hot, you're gonna come with me anyways. Which, I don't know. That's none of my business. Let's see what Ren would do. We can get pissed off at him. Maybe that's an option. Maybe we can get mad at him for this. I'll even throw in some of those cartoon stickers for you. Surely that'll make it worth your time. The wink she sends him felt a little excessive, and I honestly wish Ren would turn around so I could gauge his reaction. But instead, he leans in close to her face and whispers in a hushed tone that I could barely hear from my spot outside the store. If she wasn't mumble, right now, I would have mumble, down the stair, mumble, without a mumble, thought. Did he threaten? Okay, this could go two ways. He's either being a douchebag and saying that he'd, like, get dirty with her, or he just said he was gonna threaten her. Or he just threatened her and said he would kill her. Can you imagine, like, if she wasn't staring at us right now, I would have stabbed you. I would have shoved you down this stairway without a second thought. If she acts horrified, he threatened her. And honestly, there, mumble, nothing more I'd rather do. He did! He just threatened her! From their current position, it looked as though they were having a really intimate conversation, and I felt the sudden urge to look away. Why was I getting so bothered over this? I know we aren't together, but Ren shouldn't be off flirting with other people while on a date with someone else. Oh my god, is our character an idiot? Well, I guess we do have the context that he's like a yandere character, and our character doesn't know that. But given all the other red flags, like he's known a lot of stuff about us that we have not told him. I feel like one could draw the conclusion that he was ready to fight Teo, that he might have just threatened this girl. Poor thing. You know, that's crazy. The second that, literally, a man objectifies a woman and then the woman is scared for her life, but God forbid a woman object a man, which she's doing in this object. Oh my god. Literally, men catcall and objectify women so much, and then we're scared for our lives. But the second a woman does it to a man, she's still scared for her life? Insane. Insane. There's no winning for women. Besides, this was exactly the type of thing Teo would do to me whenever we were dating. Oh, that sucks. He'd go around shamelessly flirting with other people, sometimes while I was in the very same room. And what made it worse was that he'd simply laugh it off by saying he was just messing around and that I shouldn't be getting so worked up. I think it's very interesting that we gave our character so much lore to add to the story by declaring that Teo was our ex, because I can imagine that none of this would have happened. Like, we wouldn't have any of this internal, any of these internal thoughts had we said that Teo was just a friend. I honestly couldn't believe that Ren was doing the same thing to me right now, but still, there was this nagging voice in the back of my head that kept telling me not to give up on him so easily. Ren was the one who confidently stood his ground when Teo got a bit suggestive, so maybe I should do the same? Would he even mind? No! Don't do it! Here's the part where we just observe, and if it's obvious that he's into another woman, we take ourselves out of the equation and leave. Sorry guys, I'm traumatized. Before I can stop myself, my feet start to move on autopilot as I march towards the two of them and reach for Ren's sleeve. I give it a hesitant tug, and I swear I can almost feel the relief wash over his body because of it. Ren's entire demeanor seems to change in that moment, and he turns to me with a relieved smile on his soft features. I don't really have any interest in this store. Can we go somewhere else? Yeah, of course. Wait, hold on. Ren carelessly shoves Olivia's outstretched hand aside and gently places an arm over my shoulder instead. And just like that, he's already guiding me out of the store and back onto the busy street. I can hear Olivia sputter out confused sounds as she watches the two of us leave, and I suddenly felt guilty for causing a rift between them. Girl, don't feel guilty. If that's what you wanted, do it. No matter how many times I try to brush it aside, I still couldn't get my mind off of what had just occurred earlier. What if Ren was interested in her? I should just ask. No, don't ask. Men gaslight you. Don't ask. I don't know. That's why you just have to sit and observe, because if you ask them, they can just lie to you. Like, deadass, we could be like, oh, were you interested in Olivia? And then next thing you know, we find that he's been texting her on his phone this whole time because we have her phone number. Like, imagine at the end of this 14-day game, we find out that he's been messaging her this whole entire time. Sounds like something a man would do. Which is why there's, like, such an appeal, I feel, for, like, a yandere man, because, or even character, because they're so obsessed with you that you know they're not going to shift their focus and attention anywhere else. And when you haven't had that kind of loyalty in a relationship, you just can't help but feel that something like that would be slightly more appealing than being lied to and gaslighted and cheated on. Granted, he probably shouldn't have blatantly flirted with her while on a date with me, but he wasn't exactly the most confident guy. Also, I definitely don't think he was flirting with her. Like, I genuinely think he threatened her. Would he still be able to talk to her again if things didn't work out between us? No, I shouldn't be thinking like that. Peering up to gauge his expression, I noticed that he didn't really look all that upset about leaving her. If anything, he seemed rather content to be walking down the street with his fingers entwined with mine once more. I can feel him give my hand a protective squeeze as he looks down at me with his soft blue eyes, and all of my worries somehow melt away. Maybe I did make the right choice after all. It might have been selfish, but it was worth having Ren look at me with such a gentle expression. Sometimes you gotta be selfish too, because, like, in this case where she didn't do anything with Teo, you just did whatever the fuck you wanted anyways. So, like, I don't know. I feel like it's good that they're not dating, and if anything like that happens again, we'll leave. Eventually, the sun starts to set behind the ocean as Ren and I continue to walk along the beach walk. Most of the conversation was geared towards me and my interests again, but every time I tried to learn more about Ren, he only seemed to divert the conversation back to me once more. But the more I focused on this odd behavior, the more I began to pick up on his subtle habits as well. I learned that Ren would subtly pick at the sleeves of his cardigan whenever he got nervous, or how he'd scratch at his jaw whenever the conversation strayed down a path he didn't feel comfortable with. His little quirks told me more about himself than the dead-end conversations that only led back to me, and I was content with knowing more about him than I did yesterday. Ren no longer felt like a stranger I had met at a library, but rather someone I could consider a friend. Except friends aren't supposed to get jealous whenever they see them flirt with someone else, and friends aren't supposed to call each other their boyfriend. Which, I know our character thinks that he only said that to maybe, I don't know, like, make us seem cool in front of Teo, or like, fuck you, I have a boyfriend who treats me well. But I'm pretty sure he introduced himself to Teo as our boyfriend before I said Teo was our ex. So he had already established that well before any of the weird back and forth bitterness that was exchanged. Jeez, what was wrong with me? It had barely been 2 days and I was already contemplating whether or not I truly saw Ren in a romantic light? Maybe the Yandere character is us. Was I going too fast? All of these thoughts were starting to get a bit overwhelming and... Angel? Hello? Huh? You're spacing out on me again. There's that look again. He keeps peering down at me with so much adoration in his eyes, and if I didn't know any better, I would think he was already halfway in love with me. But that was a very conceited thought, and probably wasn't even true. So sorry, I was just thinking about things. Are you going to share those things with the rest of the class? He sends me a playful smile and gentle nudge into my side, and I couldn't help but laugh. When did we become so comfortable with each other, and when did he lose his stutter? It's nothing really, maybe a bit embarrassing, but... Well, I was wondering, how do you feel about... My senses get cut short when a drop of rain lands on my cheek. Instinctively, I look up and find myself wondering how I didn't notice those dark clouds in the sky sooner. All of a sudden, more droplets fall down until it's all but pouring rain and forcing everyone in the area to find cover. Over here! Ren doesn't seem to pay much attention when he grabs me by the wrist and pulls me underneath one of the awnings of a nearby building. He shields me from the rain with his body, and I couldn't help but feel tiny with the way his arms cage me in as he rests them against the wall. Oh my god! I'm deceased. See, he has the tattoos too! We look at each other in silence for a brief moment before erupting in laughter. Perhaps it was because of the adrenaline from all the panicked running, or the fact that Ren's hair was starting to lose its fluffiness, but I couldn't hold back from letting out a fit of giggles. This only seemed to spur Ren on as well, until we're both wheezing out of our lungs and gulping down air. I can't remember the last time I ran that fast. Me too. The looming sound of thunder echoes from afar and drowns out our laughter until we're both silent once more. Once we both calm down, Ren moves me further away from the rain before casting a glance behind him. Wait here, I'll buy us an umbrella so we can get out of this rain. But you'll get soaked. Haha, 'tis a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I roll my eyes at his corny joke and send him off with an amused smile. He doesn't look back before he makes a mad dash out into the rain and down the street towards the closest convenience store. Though the rain only seemed to get heavier the moment he leaves, and I find myself pressing even further against the wall behind me to avoid the recoil of the rain bouncing off the pavement. Honestly, this rain probably is gonna pass in about 20 minutes, so they could have just waited. Kind of a vibe, I guess. It's probably gonna take them like 10 minutes to get an umbrella. There wasn't much for me to do while I waited for Ren to return, aside from watching people scramble around for shelter. And just like that, the carefree sounds of laughter echoing from down the street capture my attention as I watch Leon, Teo, and Jay all run to cover like their life depended on it. Well, it seems as though their beach outing got cut short as well. Glancing back once more, I barely make out the figure of Leon using his bag as a makeshift umbrella as he ducks under one of the awnings of an ice cream stand. All while Teo and Jay trail behind at a leisurely pace, kicking and splashing water at each other in the rain. I had to look away the moment Teo started to remove his shirt, and I had an inkling that it was so he could show off. And knowing Jay, he'll follow along without a care in the world because that's what he always does when it comes to his friends. A part of me feels like calling out to the group to see if I can wait out the storm alongside them, but they all seem to be enjoying themselves and I didn't want to get in between that. Plus, I did promise Ren that I'd wait for him here, even if he was taking his sweet time. Yeah, it's taking him a while. It's like the storm's gonna be gone by the time he gets here, or gets back. Was he ever gonna return? There was still no sign of him or his comfy-looking cardigan, and I was beginning to wonder if he really did ditch me. After all, it must have been more than 15 minutes by now. What if he got caught up with something? Or what if he went back to see that cashier lady again? Our store did happen to be on the same street, but after spending the afternoon with Ren and getting to know him, I concluded that he wasn't the type of person to do such a thing. That's what I thought, and then I got cheated on. Just saying. But if he was, then that would only add insult to injury, considering how Teo had done the same to me multiple times in the past. Although if I was being honest with myself, it did seem as though they had chemistry. Especially with how she looked at him and touched his arm as though it was the most natural thing in the world. She apparently knew him as well, or at least he looked recognizable enough. Why did that thought make my blood boil? Thankfully the rain was there to cool me off, as well as soak the ends of my outfit and make everything feel damp and uncomfortable. Was Ren really coming back? It shouldn't take him this long to buy an umbrella. Oh, this sucks. Because I feel like we should continue waiting, but like, I don't think he's abandoned us. But if he did, then I wouldn't want to stay waiting. Imagine the drama, guys. If we walk home and then he's like, ugh, you left. And then we were like, it's like the same vibe as, in the Heights. You know, when Vanessa and Usnavi are having their little fight and she's like, Usnavi, all night, you barely even danced with me. And then he's like, don't make me laugh, I've been trying all night. You've been shaking your ass for like half of the Heights. And she's like, yeah, real nice. And then he's like, you barely even gave me a chance. That's like the vibe. It could be the vibe. That could be the vibe if we walk home. But if we wait for him, I don't know, we might as well wait. If he doesn't show up, maybe we can catch up with like Leo and Teo and their names kind of rhyme. And Jay. Maybe something did come up. I'm sure he'll come back. And as if on cue, I spot a familiar patch of pink hair from within the misty rain, frantically sprinting with an umbrella in one hand and a bag into the other. He bought more stuff. What if he got us clothes? Oh my god. Angel? Angel? Ah! He almost slams into me before stopping just in time, and I could tell by the way he was wheezing that he ran all the way back here without stopping. So sorry. I thought I almost lost you for a second. It's so hard to see in this weather. Jeez, Ren, what took you so long? I almost wanted to cuss him out for taking well over 20 minutes just to buy a single umbrella, but the genuinely apologetic look on his features made me hold my tongue. Sorry, do you remember your friends from earlier? I ran into them on the way there, which took forever for me to shake them off. And then the convenience store ended up closing early due to the sudden weather change, so I had to go to that awful souvenir shop with that obnoxious and clingy cashier again, and then she asked me if He was talking a mile a minute, and I was worried he'd end up biting his tongue. Gently, I raised a hand to signal him to calm down, and his intense monologue soon comes to a halt. I'm really sorry about making you wait so long, but... ta-da! I did manage to get an umbrella, among other things as well. Hee. Aw, see, I feel like a nice guy would just get the umbrella, but a kind guy, a great guy, would get you other stuff too, because it just shows that they're actually thinking about you and not like the current situation or whatever, if that makes sense. He gives it a small twirl in his hands, sending droplets of water all over the place. Oh, I know, it's like a nice guy. A nice guy will pick you up for your date, but a kind guy will also bring flowers if he knows that you like flowers. Or like a piece of candy if you like sweets or something, I don't know. He gives it a small twirl in his hands, sending droplets of water all over the place. We can start heading back home if you want, unless you want to go somewhere specific. We can go to my apartment, we can go to your apartment. Where do you want to go? Forget it, I'm going home alone. Let's go to his apartment. He saw my place, I want to see his place. My apartment? Sure, it's not that far away. We could wait out the storm there if you'd like. I even have a heater and a dryer we could use. The image of me sitting in front of a warm, cozy heater was too hard to resist, so I end up eagerly stepping under Ren's umbrella while he heads that way. Okay. So at least he's not being weird about us wanting to go to his place. Cause like if there was something truly suspect going on, he'd be like, my house? No. Like imagine he has like cameras on us or something and like they're all in his house. But obviously they're not because we're going to his house. Unless they're hidden. I don't know. Despite the heavy downpour of rain, we managed to make it to Ren's apartment complex in one piece. One Piece mentioned. I guess he really wasn't lying when he said his apartment wasn't far from mine. But judging from the pristine interior and fully functioning elevators, his building seemed to be in far better shape compared to my apartment. What does he do for work? Is this guy, he's loaded? Maybe we do love him. Maybe he is the love of our life. The elevator ride could have been a little less awkward though if it weren't for the slow ascent and tacky music. Or for the fact that Ren deemed it appropriate to shake his hair like a wet dog and get water droplets everywhere. Oh, I bet he thinks he's funny, doesn't he? Once the elevator doors slid open, I was immediately met with a grandiose corridor and large spacious doors. And I found myself wondering how much it costs to live in a place like this. Real. Don't look too hard at how messy my place is, okay? I wasn't expecting to have someone over today, so I didn't bother cleaning up. Your place should be clean regardless, because You know what that means? Then that just means that you're messy, and if I ever get comfy around you, you're just gonna be messy. And then I'm gonna have to start picking up after you, and that's no fun. I'm not your mom. I'm getting a weird sense of deja vu. Thankfully, I don't have any white-haired neighbors who would like to take their plants on walks. Actually, now that I think about it, it's a bit strange, but no one lives on this floor aside from me. I'm not really sure why, but I'm not gonna complain. I can make as much noise as I want, no one would notice. Ren shoots me a mischievous grin, and I find myself wondering what he meant by that. Like, loud music and stuff? Movies? Yeah, something like that. He unlocks the door with some electric card attached to his keychain, and the moment the door swings open, I let out an audible gasp. So he is clean. That's like 2 pros already. Like, he's clean and he's like kind and considerate and thoughtful. Sign me up. I don't care if he's a stalker. I'm kidding, I take that back. I don't fall in love with my stalkers, guys. Don't stalk me. Please don't. I would call the cops. Like, for real. Ren doesn't seem fazed in the slightest as he flicks on the lights and walks into his own home, but I could barely stand at the entrance into his foyer in shock. Yes, foyer. He had a whole dang foyer in his apartment. Was this even an apartment? Surely a penthouse would have made more sense. Yeah, imagine he's like, no one else lives on my floor because he lives on the whole floor. That'd be insane. Holy crap, Ren. Is there something wrong? What is it? Your plants are dusty. This place is a mess. Oh my god. I'm kidding. I know the decor is kind of tacky, but it came with the apartment, and I haven't found time to do anything about it yet. I'm sorry, but are you the long-lost heir of a billionaire or something? This place is huge. And hello, is that marble? No, I get paid a lot for my job. What the fuck does he do? Is he in cybersecurity? I'm trying to think of like something he could do remotely, but would also like make it easier for him to stalk us. Easy to afford rent at least. Enough to afford rent at least. You know, I don't think I've asked you this yet, but what exactly is your job? My job is, well, I guess you could say I'm a programmer? I don't know, I just take on a few jobs every so often, nothing super fancy or anything. Yeah, I knew he was in web tech or whatever it is it's called. Web things. Nothing super fancy. Ren, you have marble flooring. Leaving the newly discovered programmer at the entrance, I curiously venture into his apartment. Marble's a pain in the rear end to clean too. Oh, Angel, do you want some slippers? The floors can get cold and your shoes are probably soaked, right? Turning around, I notice Ren open a small closet and pulling out a pair of dark house slippers. He looks at me with a curious expression but makes no effort to hand them over. Only if you want them. I'll take them, but only because they look like they're Gucci. Ren lets out a puff of laughter through his nose at my joke but doesn't seem to deny it. Were these slippers really from a luxury brand? As I put them on, I notice how they're an exact fit, and it makes me wonder if I just have average-sized feet, or if Ren had bought a bunch of super expensive house slippers in varying sizes. That is kind of suspect. I know a lot of the Airbnbs I go to in Japan do have house slippers, but they're like one size fits all. Well, they're all large, and you just wear them. But as funny as that imagery was, how did he accurately guess my shoe size without seeing my feet? That is kind of concerning, actually. How, you know, a stalker would know where you live, what you do for work, where your job is. And I guess even if you got promoted or not, but how on earth would they know your shoe size? Can you imagine, like, we walk somewhere and we leave a footprint in the mud and he's out there with, like, what's it called? A measuring tape, and he's like, ah, yes, 5.5. That's your shoe size. Here, why don't I show you to the bathroom? I'll find you something to wear in the meantime while your clothes are in the dryer. Also, I don't know. That's really kind of him, though. Like, going through so much to figure out my shoe size so I'd have the correct size slipper to wear in his home? I don't know. That's kind of it's weird, but also kind of considerate at the same time. I don't know where we draw the line with being creepy or considerate, but I'm just not gonna think about it. Or would you prefer a towel instead? I guess that'd make more sense. So sorry, I don't usually invite people over. Seeing his timid side resurface once more gave me the sudden urge to tease him. Just a towel? Is it Egyptian cotton? Don't you have any friends? Am I your first house guest? That's funny. I feel like all of these are like kind of mean. Not necessarily mean. I mean, the only one that's like probably, well, don't you have any friends and am I your first house guest are both kind of mean. But like Egyptian cotton is like fancy pants, like silly mean. Not really mean, but he could take it in a mean way. But so I feel like the most, I don't know, safe option is to flirt just a towel. Just a towel, nothing else. Yeah, to keep you warm instead of taking a shower, unless you'd prefer a blanket, because I'm pretty sure I have an electric. Oh. It was as if all of the gears inside of his head were finally clicking together. No, I didn't mean, I meant a towel that you can wear over your clothes. Not just you in a towel, unless you'd want to, but that's, why would you? I'm gonna just shut up now. Sorry. That wasn't what I had meant at all, but his reaction was priceless nonetheless. Anyway, I actually would like to have a shower. I'll show you to the bathroom. You can use whatever you want in there, nothing is off limits. First it was offering to spend the night at my place, then it was asserting himself as my boyfriend in front of my friends. He really doesn't care about personal boundaries, huh? I was beginning to think that Ren didn't really seem to mind when it came to me invading his personal bubble as well. Though he still seemed pretty standoffish around Teo and Leon. And it took him a while to warm up to Eleanor back at the library. He even seemed indifferent when he first met Violet, but I figured that was only because he was shy. Speaking of being shy, I still noticed how Ren didn't seem to be switching up his personality as much anymore, and I was beginning to think that he was showing me his real side. Up until now, everything felt real and genuine, and I found that we could bounce back witty retorts between each other more easily. Though every now and again he might slip up and stutter, but I just assumed it was because my teasing made him flustered. So maybe the timid side of him was genuine after all? But I'll leave some clothes for you outside and put the plushie I bought for you in your room. Plushie? My room? Oh, yeah, thanks. What? Great, I was zoning out again and completely missed half of what he was saying. Something about clothes and a plushie he bought? Was he talking about the Haruko plushie I was eyeing up earlier? Yes, probably. I mean, he was carrying a gift bag from that souvenir shop earlier. Did he really buy me that toy? Ren, however, doesn't seem to pick up on my confusion though, and invitingly opens the bathroom door for me with a soft smile. And without trying to make things awkward, I quickly slip and slide inside and leaned against the door for support, which was fortunate for me because one sweep of the bathroom had me stumbling back in surprise. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. Whoa. Even his restroom looked expensive. I was afraid of touching anything, fearing I'd accidentally break it and end up paying for it. Glancing around again, I notice how his countertop seems to be void of any dental care, hairbrushes, and skincare products, though a few bottles of concealer and an open box of hair dye is in the corner near the sink. Where's makeup? Well, I guess that answers my burning question on whether or not he naturally had pink hair. Why would he naturally have pink hair? But now it made me wonder, if Ren does dye his hair, then what was his natural hair color? It's probably gotta be blonde then if we also don't find any bleach. There were still so many things I didn't know about that soft-looking guy, and I was beginning to question whether coming here was a good idea or not. With a sigh, I decide not to waste any more time thinking about irrelevant things and instead turn my attention back to the shower. Oops. Quickly stripping out of my clothes, I jump into the unnecessarily large glass booth and turn the water on. Glancing at Ren's shelf of, albeit limited, hair and body products, I couldn't help but notice that one brand in particular happened to be the exact same as mine. It is very interesting. I haven't been in a shower. Maybe we're just that similar. Did we use the same body wash? It didn't really smell like me, but maybe that was because I wasn't paying much attention. I mean, who randomly smells people out of the blue anyway? Shaking my head as, oh, I guess he could have followed us into the store. What, like one day whenever, like if we ever needed any body wash, he could have like been stalking us and been like, yes, she's picking up the pink bottle with the purple lid, and that's the one she uses, I guess. Which is kind of funny, because a lot of the smells that I kind of want to gatekeep my body wash. It's my favorite. I don't want people knowing about it. Because, like, already it's so hard to find. And it's hard to find the lotion one, too. So, like, maybe I'll give you guys a tour one day. but not today. But also unrelated, I really do like the lavender Bath and Body Works. It's like the lavender stress relief one. I use that like for like nighttime if I take a shower at night so I can like relax and unwind. Usually take showers during the, like at the beginning of the day. Shaking my head at such a silly notion, I begin to scrub away the lingering smell of rain from my body and quickly finish washing up. Bundled up in a warm towel, I crack open a large door and poke my head out into the hallway. True to his word, Ren left a small pile of clothing outside the bathroom, neatly stacked and propped up against the side of the wall. Bringing the contents back inside, I noticed that one piece of clothing in particular was a rather comfy-looking hoodie. Snatched, that's ours now. That's our hoodie. But the design on the front, however, was rather morbid-looking and didn't really suit Ren's vibe. Interesting. So, he is playing pretend with his outfit. Maybe he really dresses this way, or maybe he just knows that that's the kind of stuff we would prefer. Maybe from a horror film or something? Shrugging my shoulders, I put the hoodie on and instantly get enveloped by the sheer amount of fabric. I mean, it made sense considering Ren's large and lanky frame, but this was just absurd. But I had to stifle a laugh from the amusing sight in the fogged-up mirror, but I had to admit that the soft fabric felt nice and warm against my skin. Even the scent that came from it felt oddly comforting somehow. Turning back to the remaining clothes in the pile, I gently pick up the next item and try to put it on. The gray sweatpants didn't seem to fit the length of my legs, despite the number of times I tried to tug at the fabric, but luckily Ren was thoughtful enough to leave me other alternatives. The dark pair of shorts seemed like the better option, especially since it came with a drawstring and deep pockets. No, the sweatpants sound more comfy. Once I was fully dressed, I step out of the bathroom and aimlessly walk around until I hear the faint sound of a TV playing. Feeling curious, I follow the source of the sound down the hallway. Aching news! A sudden storm hits the bay as gale force winds and knock over. Oh, are we gonna be stuck inside of his house? Guests believe that this sudden change in weather will die down soon, and to stay safe indoors. I continue to follow the noise until it suddenly cuts out and changes into a glaring monotone sound, indicating that the television must have lost all signal. And soon enough, I find myself in Ren's spacious lounge room. Aside from the TV, the rest of the lights were off, but I could still make out most of the dark shapes within the room with ease. It was just as ostentatious as the rest of his house, though I couldn't help but feel like it lacked any form of life. It just didn't seem like someone actually lived here. Because he spends his time outdoors stalking us. The furniture was gaudy yet tasteless. Oh. There was hardly any personal decoration or colors, and there was nothing that really screamed Ren to me. There were no personal touches, photos, items, hobbies, nothing. Just tacky furniture and the bland smell of something sterile. If I was being honest, it gave off the same vibe as a dentist's clinic or a hospital. Honestly, that's some people have that vibe. Like, I mean, they might not look like they have that vibe, but that's the vibe that they prefer for their home. I think it's nice. You can have as much or as little stuff in your house as you want. I mean, he did mention recently moving in, right? Maybe that's why. Oh. Does he have a tattoo on his hip? Also, these look... Did he shower? Maybe he has 2 showers. This place looks expensive as hell. He probably has 2 showers. Who moved in? Surprised by the sudden voice, I spin my head only to find Ren coming out from one hallway with a new set of comfy clothing. He seemed much more at ease like this, especially with the gentle expression on his face. I watch as he takes a respectful glance at my attire before sheepishly averting his attention to the ends of his sleeve. Sorry, that's the only pair of clothing I could find that might fit you. It looks really good on you, though. Oh, thanks. You can even keep them if you want. The sound of thunder rumbling in the distance cuts off Ren's mumbling, and I involuntarily step closer to him. I hope they continue him, like, having these weird little mumbles, like, all throughout the rest of this game. Because I feel like it... I don't know, I feel like it adds to his character, and if we were to remove that, then that's a piece of his character that has been, I don't know, revoked. And I love it when characters are, like, unique and have certain weird quirks. Without missing a beat, he reaches out and rests a protective hand on my shoulder to steady me. Ren idly glanced out the window before turning his undivided attention back to me once more, only this time with a determined look. It's really pouring, huh? I could only nod my head at his words, suddenly feeling sheepish all of a sudden. I really should have checked the weather forecast before I went out today, but to be fair, it didn't look as though it'd start spontaneously raining when I left my apartment this morning. And I guess I was enjoying my time with Ren to the point where I didn't even realize the weather was turning sour. Angel? Sorry, what did you say? I just asked if you wanted to stay the night here. You know, seeing how hard it's raining out there, and your clothes haven't finished drying yet. It'd be no trouble, and I could return the favor, considering how you let me stay at your apartment yesterday. Staying at his place for the night? Well, this certainly isn't how I expected to end my day. But would it really be that bad? It definitely beats waiting out the storm and walking home with a bunch of puddles everywhere. Why are there two options? Spend the night or spend the night? Oh, that one's probably locked. It's probably like an alternative, like a work in progress thing. Oh, we can click it. Wait, what was that? Did I really want to stay the night at Ren's place? I guess I did. I couldn't really remember otherwise. Huh? What happens if we do this one? What? So they are different. I guess I could stay if that's really okay with you. I'm guessing that first option was more genuine of us, and the second one was more like we're being programmed into wanting to do it or something. I don't know. Shit, we still have 3 more days. I can't play 2 games at once. I'm so curious. Fuck. This is like... It's like when I played Doki Doki. I guess I could stay if that's really okay with you. Yeah, of course, it's totally fine. Wow, he really was an energetic and eccentric man, wasn't he? Interesting. Let me know if you need any more pillows or blankets. Oh, wait, this is inside of his house? I thought this was in the hallway. He has stairs? He has a 2nd floor inside of his house? That's insane. Or if the room gets too cold, I haven't worked out how to use the fancy heater system yet, but I can definitely try. Okay, hold up. Okay. I'm just so curious. So I spend the night. Did I really want to stay the night at Ren's place? Da, 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 da. I guess I could stay if that's really okay with you. Yeah, of course, it's totally fine. Everything seems the same. Everything seems the same so far. What? Also, you already know where the bathroom is, but if you... Okay, let's go back. You know where the bathroom is but you. Yeah. Okay, I think I got it, Ren. I shoot him a reassuring smile as I turn to face him at the door. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know why we have the same option, but one is like slightly scary. It's like scary for 2 seconds and then that's it. I should have gotten used to his attentive and observant behavior by now, but it still felt like a foreign side of him that I hadn't fully uncovered. Still, at least he wasn't stuttering as much anymore. I know, sorry. I just want you to be as comfortable as possible, so just treat this house like it's your own. Alright, gotcha. He looks like he doesn't want to leave, and instead lingers in front of the door a little while longer. Are you sure there isn't anything else you need? Anything at all? Oh, a locked door? A locked door? Okay, wait. I don't know if a good night I don't know why, but I feel like sleeping in his bed is more innocent than wanting a good night kiss because there is like a storm and like kind of scary, but I don't know. I feel like goodnight kiss is like extra flirty than just like sleeping in someone's bed, assuming that he's not gonna try to get sexual with us. But I want to ask him what's behind his locked door, and then if something scary happens, I'm just gonna go back because I just want to know, but I don't want that to be the path that we take. The locked door? What door? Oh, you mean the one that at the end of that hallway? All of a sudden, his timid persona is back again. Was he just nervous? What could he possibly be hiding in that room to make him act like this? There's nothing in particular, just, You see, I'm currently using it as a storage room for all the furniture from my old place. It's really messy in there. I'd be embarrassed if you saw what's behind that door. Oh, yeah, okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. Great, now I'm the person who threw accusations at someone kind enough to offer me a place to stay for the night. Still, it was nice to know that he did own some kind of furniture. Sorry, I guess I was just really curious about it. Usually people don't leave the lights on behind locked doors. Oh, yeah. I'd be happy to show you what's behind that door when it's not so cluttered. But if that's all, then I guess I'll let you get some sleep if you need anything. My room is just 3 doors down. Gotcha. Good night, Ren. It's so funny. I kind of want to ignore it. Maybe we should. I don't know. I feel like asking for a goodnight kiss could like actually. I don't know. I don't want to like make out with him. I just want things to be like cute and innocent and flirty. He like might not actually kiss us if we ask for a goodnight kiss. But so I don't know. Do we ask to sleep in his bed or do we ask for a kiss? Let's just sleep in his bed. You want to in my room? He seems really mad. Did I just say that? I can't keep letting these intrusive thoughts win. I don't mind, but what's wrong with the guest bedroom? He peers behind my head to glance around the room behind me before sheepishly meeting my gaze once more. Nothing's wrong, I wanted to tease you a little bit, is all. Sorry, I don't really know why I said that. Oh, I see. Don't worry about it then. And to be honest, I kinda enjoy it when you tease me. Well, if everything's okay, I guess I'll let you get some sleep then? Yeah, okay. Alright then. Oh, so the whole time we're just teasing him. That's probably what's gonna happen if we ask for a goodnight kiss, too. Almost sheepishly, I dared to look up and gauge Ren's reaction to my words. He seems to be taking it as best he can, judging from how bright red his cheeks and neck get, and the fact that he can't seem to look me in the eyes. Ren, don't get all shy on me now. Before I could finish my sentence, Ren was already leaning down and pressing his soft lips against my own. I barely noticed the way his hands gently hold my shoulder to keep me steady as his head tilts to the side. This kiss was brief and chaste, but it still made the both of us flustered. Is that okay? Uh-huh. Okay, good. I'm glad. Good night. Okay, I think I prefer, I don't know if I prefer this or the whole bedroom thing. Before I can even respond, he's already turning his heels and speed walking towards his own room. Maybe that was teasing him even more. I don't know. We're just gonna leave it as is. Shaking my head at his odd behavior, I close the door behind me and slowly make my way towards the bed. I noticed the Haruko plushie Ren had bought earlier was sitting atop the sheets, and I gently bring it closer to my chest to give it a soft squeeze. So he really did buy this for me after all. The faintest hint of cherry and mint emits from the toy and makes my mind drift to thoughts of that strange pink-haired man once more. Oh yeah, I forgot he smells like cherries and mint. He was still as odd as usual, but some parts of him were starting to feel rather endearing. I noticed how he was no longer stuttering as much or acting as shy, and it made me wonder if we were getting closer. Now that I really thought about it, how did I feel about Ren? It's kind of creepy. I'm so nosy. Okay, I just want to see what happens if we say he's creepy. What was there to say? He still had that flippant personality of his going on, and he somehow knew all of my favorite things without asking me. That sounded like a grade A creep to me, but I didn't have any solid proof to back up my theory. But I guess I shouldn't be calling him a creep when I was the one who willingly agreed to go to his apartment, despite only knowing him for 2 days. There was also that break-in that Violet mentioned yesterday, but Ren didn't fit their description at all. Ah, well, I shouldn't be concerning myself over this. I still had that new lock installed, so I doubt they'll come back. That's awesome. I think I like him. I'm crushing on him. Let's say I'm crushing on him. Okay, so maybe I did find him rather endearing and attractive. Ren was very considerate and attentive towards me during our date, and I could see myself wanting to go on another date in the near future. Maybe one that's like actually planned and not one where he just declares that it's a date. Maybe. He certainly had boyfriend potential, but I still needed to work up the nerve to make it lead toward that direction. He seemed far too hesitant to do it himself, but it would have been nice to see him put more effort into it as well. That's facts. Well, just knowing Ren wanted to spend the entire day with me is enough. Rolling onto my side, I hug the plushie closer so I can be surrounded by his comforting scent and slowly drift off to sleep. End of day 2! Next day will soon begin. Would you like to save your progress? Yes, please. Save my progress. Well, guys, we're wrapping it up here. These days are actually low-key really long. I've been filming for 2 hours already, so I'm gonna leave day 2 at that, and we'll pick up day 3 in the next video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, a link to this game will be in the description below. I'll see you in day 3. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.